I'm Brianna Gray, National Press Secretary for the Bernie Sanders campaign, and I'm joined by campaign co-chair Nina Turner to talk a little bit about some of the media bias and bad press that's been going around today that doesn't really represent the true picture of what's going on today. We had some fire tweets from some campaign staffers today.
We did, yeah.
And I know that you want an opportunity to respond and say your piece, so I'm going to turn the floor over to you, Senator.
Thank you, Bree Joyce. So yes, our very own David Sirota really captured the fact that the senator is really neck and neck in a Washington Post, ABC poll within striking distance of the vice president. Yet the headlines did not reflect that. And so, Bridget, I don't know if we can pull up the headlines for folks, but I'm just going to, look at my cell phone right now because I want to give you the right information.
So to be really clear, the poll that you're talking about is this ABC News Washington Post poll, which puts Joe Biden at 29%, Bernie Sanders in a close second place at 23%, and then a significant drop-off for Kamala Harris at 11%, Elizabeth Warren at 11%, Buttigieg at 4%, Castro at 4%, Klobuchar at 2%, Beto O'Rourke at 2%.
That's right. And so, polls are snapshots in time. We all know that. They're snapshots in time. And certainly when your person is doing very well in the polls, you're like, yes. And when they're not doing well in the polls, you're not so happy about it.
Sure.
However, there are other measures that we, all of us, should be measuring a candidate's viability by, and not just the polls.
Right.
However, if you're going to use a poll, the headline ought to, yes, I did say, ought to reflect the true nature of the poll.
Right.
So Bree Joy just named the numbers for you, but if you all go to David Sirota, and that's Sirota, one of our colleagues on this campaign. He pointed out in his tweet that today's WashPoll/ABC poll shows at Bernie Sanders surging 12 points since April, only 6 points behind Biden, and with more than double the support of his next two rivals combined. Yet there are headlines about this poll, and somehow they neglected to mention Senator Sanders. And so you can see the headlines. The WashPoll headline was Biden holds lead in Democratic presidential contest as Harris is praised for her debate. And we have another headline by ABC. Harris scores in debate performance while electability keeps Biden up front. And then for the Washington Post, Harris Warren tie for third place in the new 2020 Dem poll, but Biden still leads.
Right. So the headline literally just skips over the second place
just
candidate.
Literally.
To jump right to third, because there is this narrative that is being pushed pretty pervasively, and it's fine to for the media to cover the whole variety of candidates, obviously, and to talk about what's going on, but they needn't hide relevant information and distort the image of the success of our candidate, of Bernie Sanders, in order to do so. And when you see that repeatedly happening, and that there's one candidate in particular that's being cut out, and other candidates kind of being elevated in these kind of narratives that say that there's a narrative that particularly wants to put us head to head and create some kind of antagonistic relationship between us and Senator Warren in particular.
That's right.
Those are the kind of things that I'm interested in pushing back against.
Yes, and we do want people to be informed. And so what we're saying is that please dig deeper. And just because the mainstream media is showing a bias against the senator doesn't make what they're saying true. My grandmother used to always say, never let the truth get in the way of a good story. Another thing Grandma used to say is that you can put truth in the river 5 days after lie, truth gone. This is Grandma talking, catch up. And, we're just bringing the truth here that is going to catch up. And speaking of the other measures by which to look at a candidate, particularly our candidate, just know that he's up against the entire establishment. He's made that clear in multiple speeches.
Right.
He knows what his mission is.
Right.
But let's think about the on-ground engagement, people like you, the people who are fully committed to this campaign.
Right.
That senator has more than 1 million volunteers who have stepped up and said, I'm with you, I'm going to help you win this race. And between quarter one and quarter two, as we talked about last night with our campaign manager, Fast Secure, the senator between quarter one and quarter two combined has had 2 million people donate small dollar donations to his campaign.
Right.
Those are also measures of strength. Brijo, we were also talking about the numbers of people who turn out at town halls and rallies.
So just last night, for those of you who are tracking it on Twitter, Ari was doing a bit of a live blog of the fact that there flight got delayed,
Mhm.
and they had to get in a car, and driver ended up being about an hour late to this Iowa rally. But despite that fact, there were still nearly 1,000 people there late at night to join in the senator and raise their hands for this revolution. You know, and those pictures of these overcrowded, I mean, those of you who remember from 2016, the imagery of stadiums filled and, you know, the huge turnout in places like the Bronx, huge diverse turnouts in places like that. The media just failed to cover that kind of enthusiasm. And so that's part of why some folks, not all folks, but some folks are pretty surprised when, you know, in the Iowa caucuses, Bernie Sanders pulled a draw, and when he did so well in states like Michigan. You know, if you're not covering, the media is not covering those events, you're not going to get a good representation of what's happening on the ground. And, you know, people ignore us at their own peril.
Yes, and if the tree falls in the forest, I didn't make this up, you know, did you hear the sound? And so we do really count on the media to just play fair in a way, just put out the information and let people interpret that information. But since we know that that is not going to happen, we are going to make sure on a regular basis that we get to the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, and really set a strong foundation for the supporters of Senator Bernie Sanders. We want you to be encouraged that if we continue to push, as the senator has constantly said, that this is a people-powered, people-driven, not me-us type of campaign. And as I always say, that if a conscious-minded people on the move, from all walks of life on the move, the power structure can't stop a people-powered movement, a conscious-minded people-powered movement on the move, on the move for justice. And that's what this is about. And with these hands, I gotta go, Bree Joy. I'm getting a text message saying I gotta call the senator. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. We are going to be back with some more Nina Now. We are going to correct this misinformation as often as we can. But more importantly, we want to encourage you to keep on pushing. Keep the faith, keep the fight. And with these hands, baby, with these hands, we will elect Senator Bernie Sanders as the next president of the United States of America.
All right. Well, please do continue to tune in, and we will answer any questions you might have. If you don't have anything right now, we'll be back soon. We'll table it, and thank you once again for tuning in to the 99.